What's up, YouTube? Handlebar Mike here, and I got a question for you. Before I ask you that question, though, I am smoking a Genesis little canted bulldog here with that cool acrylic stem. I've actually nicknamed it Beetlejuice because of that stem. And inside of it, I do have some Samuel Gwith Sam's Flake, which is a very, very lovely tobacco. I absolutely like it. But that question I have for you is, did you know that kids can have strokes too? May is Pediatric Stroke Awareness Month, and I want to make this video to bring some light to pediatric strokes because my daughter is actually a pediatric stroke survivor. My daughter Samantha, who is 12, she'll be 13 this year, which is a video in and of itself, I guess, entering into the parenting of teenage daughter. But she had what is known as an in utero stroke. So that means that while she was developing inside the womb, she actually suffered a stroke. Now, we had no idea about this. She was born happy, healthy, normal birth. There was no complications or anything along those lines. And as she was developing in her early years, she was a little bit behind on certain milestones. And our pediatrician did recommend that we go and see a pediatric neurologist. Now, we went into that appointment going, they're going to tell us nothing's wrong. She's just a little slow, developing those milestones and stuff like that. It's not a big deal. Within the first couple of minutes and a couple of really quick tests, the neurologist turned to us and basically said, we feel that she had a stroke. She suffered a stroke, and it was most likely an in utero stroke. She did go for some EEGs and some CAT scans after that. And they did confirm that there is definitely scar tissue on the brain because of an in utero stroke. Now, what does this mean? Well, it means that my daughter Samantha has right side weakness. The right side of her body does not have as fine motor skills as it should. Her right hand is typically either open or closed, and she does have some weakness in the right leg. She did have to wear a brace when she was younger on her foot because one of the issues with one side weakness is the tendons in the foot have a tendency to tighten up, and this either points the foot down or up. So to prevent that and keep those tendons elastic, they do provide I think they call them AFO. I don't remember. It's been a long time since she's had it. But it's a brace, basically, that goes on the foot, and it keeps it in the right position. It gives her flexibility with it as well, but it doesn't allow it to point. So it keeps those tendons elastic. The right side weakness on the hand, like I said, she doesn't have fine motor skills. So she can hold stuff in her hand, but she does have a tendency to drop things and not know that she dropped them. She also does not have sensitivity on her right side as well. So her sense of touch in her hand is not very good. So that's how she wouldn't know. She'll hold on to something and her hand will just relax on its own. It doesn't have as strong of a grip. She drops something, she has no idea that she dropped it. The other side of it is she'll grip things very, very hard as well. We actually we were at a Red Top State Park here in Georgia, and they were in their nature center. They had some snakes, and they were letting the kids hold the snakes and touch the snakes, and Sammy just gripped onto that snake, and it was not a good thing. We had to Sammy, let go, because she didn't know. She didn't realize how hard she was gripping. She knew that was important, that she didn't drop. So I think she went a little excess on the grip there. But other than that, you'd have no idea. If you saw Sammy playing, you really wouldn't notice it unless we pointed it out, that sort of thing. She has been diagnosed with cerebral palsy because of the in utero stroke. Cerebral palsy is a very broad diagnosis that a lot of things fit into, and she just happens to fit into that. She also has suffered from seizures as well, and she probably will be taking medicine for the remainder of her life to prevent those seizures. That's, I guess, a whole nother story in and of itself. The first time she had a seizure and how I drove like a madman to the hospital. I still have nightmares about that day. But she is able to maintain a normal life with no problem through this medication that she takes. She has not suffered many other seizures since then, and most of her seizures are not grand mal seizures, so they're not typical where you think about a seizure where somebody's shaking and that sort of thing. She has what's called absentee seizures, where she just disappears. She's just staring off and just is gone. She's just completely blank. Her brain just locks up, basically. And it's one of the extremely frightening things, when your child becomes unresponsive and they're just staring off into that 1,000-mile stare, that sort of thing. I'd also like to introduce you guys to an organization called Chaza. Chaza is a nonprofit group that focuses on providing information and support. And I think in our world, we focus a lot on donating to organizations that deal with research or money for the cure or that sort of thing. And I think that is important, yes. You know, obviously medical research moving forward, trying to cure or find prevention for diseases or fixes for diseases is very, very important. But as a parent of a child who had a diagnosis of something that I've never heard of or thought of before, having a organization that was able to provide me with information, credible information, provide me with support, get me in touch with other parents that have the same situation that we can lean on and talk to and learn from, is amazing. They were able to help us get involved with early intervention programs that provided physical therapy and really allowed Sammy to progress very fast and get those milestone gains that she was missing out on, that we would not have seen if she didn't have access to that physical therapy. As she went into school, there is some learning struggles that she goes with as well because of this. So for us to understand how to go about getting an IEP to make sure that she got the educational needs that she needs to progress, the educational opportunities for her to be able to learn properly and that sort of thing. And having the support to learn that, and having the support to know that we're not the only parents that have to fight with the school to make sure that Sammy gets what she needs and that sort of thing, is huge. So if you guys have the means, I would like you to, if you can, donate to Chaza to help them continue to spread information and continue to put people together. They actually have a gathering once a year that we haven't made it to yet. I'm hoping that we can in the next couple of years, where Sammy will get to meet other kids that have had pediatric strokes. And I think that's great. And amazingly, here where I live, in the school that she goes to, one of her best friends, Lily, that she met through just normal circumstances, she actually had a pediatric stroke as well. She has right side or left side weakness, so it's the opposite of what Sammy has. But they get along great. They talk about things, and I think going forward, they're going to be incredible lifelong friends, creating this bond, and they can, you know, use each other as sounding boards to help as they get older and they go through the things that teenagers go through, and with social repose and everything else. So it's going to be an incredible relationship, I think, overall. So I just wanted to bring that awareness to you guys that May is Pediatric Stroke Awareness Month. Kids can have strokes too, either at a young age or even prior to being born. And I wanted to share my little story about Sammy, and that she's a killer kid. She's absolutely incredible. She's normal to the point of everything except for, you know, like I said, the silly little tick that she has when it comes to her right hand not being able to have fine motor skills, and she has a little bit of an interesting gait as she walks sometimes. She absolutely loves running. We were part of a running club. She was part of a running club, and she's going to be a cross country star, I think, as she gets into high school and everything, because she just is incredible when it comes to running. Which I think is great. You know, we've had some struggles with other sports. She has wanted to participate in things like softball, which is an interesting hurdle for us to overcome on how she's going to be able to have a softball mitt on her right hand and be able to open and close it properly and that sort of thing, because of the strength that's not there or the motor skills that are not there. And we try to overcome those. We never want to say no. We just prepare Sammy that there are going to be some struggles, and we'll get through it. And if you enjoy doing something, it's worth going through those struggles to continue to do it. You know, and it's funny. One of the things that I showed her was Abbott. You know, he was a pitcher in the major leagues and didn't have a hand. Only had one hand, and was a successful major league pitcher. It was absolutely incredible. You know, so things like that, I try to help inspire and say, look, you can do whatever you want. There's going to be a learning curve. There's going to be some hurdles that we'll come across, and we got those. We'll come across those, and we'll deal with them. And like I said, having organizations like Chaza to be able to provide us with support, with knowledge, has been huge. So get out there, help me raise some awareness of pediatric strokes, and let people know that kids have strokes too. I appreciate you guys listening to me. Don't forget, pack a bowl, light it up, burn it down, relax, enjoy. I'll see you guys online next time. Have a great rest of the day.